Hey everyone, and welcome to the Always On Point podcast with Kristen Ambos. I am bringing you live today a real estate agent that is up and coming. She has made her way through the last few years and is really making a name for herself in the Green Bay and Fox Valley area. So one of the things that I've worked with a lot in the last handful of years has been the reality of younger homeowners coming in and wanting to be homeowners at a younger age and wanting to start their investment portfolios at a younger age. So it is one of those where Miss Payton Krueger found herself in that light, not only helping her clients get there, but also herself. So it was a perfect fit to bring her in. And so I welcome you today here, Payton Krueger with Coldwell Banker. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you. So let's just get right into it so we're not wasting any time. How did you get started in real estate at a young age?
Oh, goodness. It definitely did not come I did not want to do this my whole life, but my parents are real estate investors and have been for 25 plus years.
Yes.
So it was kind of in my blood. I will give them that. But my dad is not an agent. I am very math and science brained, and I'm also 22 years old. So I graduated during COVID in 2020, and that really did affect what happened with the rest of my life.
Sure.
So I was going to college to actually go into the medical field, and my dad approached me. I was working night shift as a CNA, which I did love, but night shift is not great.
No, it's not.
No.
Tough.
Yes, it is.
Shout out to all our night shift people because it is a tough job. Yes. Okay. But sorry about that.
No. So then he approached me and said, what if I pay for you to get your license and then I'll just buy and sell through you? I was like, oh, that actually sounds like a really pretty good deal.
That is a pretty good deal.
Side cash.
Yeah.
Pay off my student loans. That sounds great. But this was in 2022. So actually January of 2022, I bought my first investment property. And I have to give a lot of the credit to my parents because my dad co-signed on that loan. Okay. So I'm completely transparent.
I was going to say, thank you so much for your transparency in this because I feel the same way. I'm very open about the mortgages my husband and I use because we're normal people who have normal lives, and having a cosigner at the age that you were when you bought your first house is very real. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for sharing that because a lot of people immediately think, well, yeah, she's a real estate agent. So of course, no. You still have to qualify like every other person. I still have to qualify for a mortgage like every other person. So just a side note, thank you for sharing that because I think transparency is really key to a lot of this.
I'm the first person to say I'm 100% transparent about everything I do because I think it's important.
Yeah,
I mean, I was 19 at that time, and that was the time when I was working night shift. And I remember it was during the day, and my dad came. I was living with my parents. He came up to my room, woke me up, and I was like, it's 10 a.m. I just went to bed at 6.
Yeah, right?
For other people, this is like waking you up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I told him, he's like, there's a house that came on the market. We have to go see it. So he basically was the one who dragged me out of bed and was like, you're going to go look at this house. And I remember I went through it. I was like, I can see a vision. I have that in my my blood. I can just see what the potential there is here. And we wrote an offer. I got it accepted. I got it accepted at $96,000, but this is in 2022. I was 19. So it wasn't that long ago.
I was going to say, so everyone says you can't find anything around $100,000, but this is only 2 years ago.
You can.
If you look hard enough, you certainly can. And if you see the potential.
And have an agent on the back end too that's always looking for you and always ready because my next house has a great story with that too.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. So this one, $96,000 I bought it for. And I rent that out today for $1,295, and my mortgage payment on that is right around $780.
Yeah. So
you do the math.
You do the math. Okay. So this is this is a much better part-time gig than working night at the hospital.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. It was
not that our hospital workers aren't great. They are
but this is passive income.
This is great passive income.
I mean, monthly.
This is a way so many and I say kids because I'm old enough to be your mom, but there's so many kids out there. Young adults is the more preferable way, but
I was a child at 19.
Yes, right. But they're like, I don't want to work a second job. I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. This is a way reasonably to do that. So that's why I think it's so important for people to understand the true wealth that real estate can bring you as a part-time gig. So, okay, so you now rent this house out, which means you either move back home or you bought another one.
So I was still living at home. And then...
Oh, this is all while you were living at home?
This is all while I was living at home.
Well, look at that. Okay.
We renovated it, and it really didn't need that much. I mean, we're talking paint, light fixtures, flooring. That was it.
So it wasn't a complete gut job, even though it was $96,000.
No, it was
See,
not.
these are the misnomers that are out there
Yes.
that just go to show you that there's so much potential out there if you really look.
Oh, yeah.
In this industry. The media is fixated on first-time homebuyers will never be able to buy a house. They can't afford it. There are opportunities out there if you're not looking for something that's absolutely brand new.
No. And honestly, being a real estate agent, a lot of my clientele is younger individuals who either need to, because I'm so transparent about numbers, and then I tell them what I'm making, and it's like something clicks in their brain. Mm-hmm. Essentially, the person who's renting from me is paying my mortgage and then some. Yeah. So they are like, oh my gosh, I'm paying someone else's mortgage.
Right.
When I could be paying that price on my own. Mm-hmm. Anyone can do it. Anyone can.
Yep.
And there's so many different programs out there. You can do it.
Yes.
But so then May of 2022, I officially got my license and started at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group.
Yep.
And like I said, at the time, it was just meant to be this little side gig.
There was a spark in you, though.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I met you, and I thought, 22, okay, that's so young. But there was a determination in your eye from the first moment I met you. And now, this is putting you on the spot a little bit, but I think it's important to know. In your 2 full years of being in real estate, how many loans have you closed?
Oh, goodness. I actually don't know. So this year, I know it's been 31.
Okay.
Just this year so far. Last year.
And I keep cutting you off, and I don't mean to, but I just feel like this is super important. For those of you that don't know, on the real estate side, it's like on average for a realtor to close 1 a month.
Yeah.
So 2 years into this, you're closing over 30 deals this year. Mm-hmm. So, do the math on how great that is. That's way above average.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so blessed this year.
Well, and it's hard work, and I'm telling you, this girl's determined. So, okay, so you're determined, and you're doing it. You're making it happen, and keep going from there. Yeah.
So May, I decided, and that first year, I want to say I closed 8.
Yeah.
8 homes, and honestly, when I first started, and I would say this to anyone who's thinking about getting into the industry or literally anything in general,
right?
Don't focus on the money. So my focus and intent of coming into this was I have the background in real estate investing. As a young individual at 19, I was like, holy smokes, how am I bringing in this much monthly income just on the side?
Yeah.
Just by staying at my parents' house.
Right.
And making this.
Yeah.
So my thing was I really wanted to inform people, like, you can do this.
Right.
No matter what age. I work with a plethora of individuals, and their ranges, so many different ranges. And I think
we have a buyer together right now.
Yes.
And she's over 60 years old, buying her first house. Mm-hmm. So it's not just young people you work with. It's all over the board. You've earned that right in the way you handle yourself, your professionalism. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you. Well, you're great on your side too.
Well, thank you. And I do appreciate that. But I think sometimes people associate a young real estate agent only being able to help younger people. Yes. And that's not the case at all. And I say that just because when I started in the industry, I was 23. Mm-hmm. And now I'm way older than that. But it's so hard when you get started as a young realtor or a young lender because people think that you don't know enough about it. But that's not the case either.
Yeah, I clung to the fact that I had real estate investing in my blood and in my background. So I used that as my niche to talk to people. And then also my age, I'm younger, but I also work with a lot of first-time home buyers now. And that's a benefit of it. And I love it because I feel as though I can tell them all this information, and maybe this is their first home.
Yep.
But also on the flip side, this might be their investment, their first investment.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in that price point, and I know you've talked about before, price point for first-time home buyers can vary, which it can.
All over the place, yeah.
But when some people are in that $200,000 price point, that might be their first investment.
Absolutely.
So it's exciting.
Absolutely, which takes us into a topic that I wanted to cover with you is house hacking.
Yeah.
It's a big word out there right now for all you TikTokers. House hacking is real.
Yes.
It is absolutely attainable. And you started doing it yourself even.
Yeah.
So
Without even trying.
I was going to say, it's not that you were trying, but you did it.
Happened.
And so, okay, so go on now with the second home you bought.
So that one we closed in December of 2022. So this was the same year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on that year.
Busy.
But what happened was I was an agent at the time. And I mean, my boyfriend and I were kind of looking. We had been together at this point 3 years. And I was like, look at this. We could have another house. We can live on our own. But I mean, half of my mortgage then would be paid from my investment property.
Yeah.
So we were kind of looking. This house came up for $85,000. $85,000 at the end of 2022.
Yeah.
And
So now this is 2 homes, 1 year, under 100,000.
yes.
So you're doubling down on the fact that this is possible.
Yes, it is possible.
Love it. For all of you listening, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
'Kay.
Come on. It's
Real. It's
possible.
possible.
It is.
Okay.
And so I remember it was a Wednesday afternoon, and I tried calling my boyfriend. He's in the trades. And so I was like, the odds of him actually answering, slim to none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx, my husband was in the trades too,
Yes.
so I get that.
So, but he answered, and I was like, I'm looking at the showing times that we can do, and it's 4:30, and that's the only time there is. So I told him, I know you work, he works 4/10s.
Yep.
So he gets done with work at 4, and I said, if you can be there, great. If not, we're probably going to buy this house. So hopefully you can get there. I really hope you can.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes.
Make it happen.
We pulled up to this house, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was like an open house. Just people coming in and out. We had a 15-minute time slot.
15 minutes to make a decision.
And I was like, we're going in. And I brought my parents because they're amazing. He's a wealth of knowledge. And we go through this house. My boyfriend does not have the eye I do. I remember the first house I bought in earlier 2022. He looked at me and he's like, what in the heck are you getting yourself into? You're gonna be in a money pit here.
Yeah.
Well, he saw that I had the eye and trusted me in this next process. And we went through it. It was a 2-bed, 1 bath, but the bathroom was only a toilet and a vanity.
Okay.
So it drew a lot of people away.
Yeah.
Well, we wrote an offer, and you were actually my lender on this. So I had a 3% down conventional loan, I believe.
Absolutely.
And instead of me being like at the top of the loan, my boyfriend was.
Yeah.
So we were still able to get that 3%.
Absolutely.
Which was
First time home buyer.
It was amazing.
So for those of you, I want to just touch on this quickly. For those of you, if one of you is a first time home buyer and the other is not, you can still both be on the loan, and the first time home buyer can get the benefit. So that's huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the only
even if
reason
you're
we were able
married,
to do it.
even if you're married. So in this case, Payton owned a home, but he had not. So now her boyfriend, we put the loan in her boyfriend's name. She was still on the loan, but he was a first time home buyer. So we got to use his benefit to buy this.
Yeah, and it was wonderful. It was a bidding war. So like I said, it came up Wednesday afternoon.
Yep.
We looked at it at 4. We wrote an offer that night. The next morning I was at a showing, and I got a call at 10 that we got an accepted offer for $110,000, which $85,000 was way underpriced for that home. It was a 2-bed, 1 bath, 2.5 car heated garage with 2 sheds. It was a really nice, it was like the perfect starter home. And, we got it for $110,000, and it was on the market less than 24 hours.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Probably closer to like 18.
Yeah.
To be exact. It was wild, but you have to be on top of it and out there. Like, it is out there.
Yep. And I think
have to look for it.
This is a great point too of working with a realtor who's going to be on top of it for you.
Yeah.
Who's going to help you be on top of it. So that if you are really looking and you know the property's going to be hot and heavy, that they're doing everything they can to make sure you get in and you have a spot. So all these showings, all of these offers, all of these people, And you guys got the house with 3% down.
We won it by $500.
$500. See?
Our offer was $500 more based on like some of the background of the offer, but we won the house by $500.
It can be. So when your agent looks at you and says final and best, they mean final and best.
Yeah.
But go at it at a dollar amount that you're willing to walk away from.
Yes.
But don't go to a point, where you're like, oh, for $500 I could have had it. And now you regret it, because there's a property that my husband and I wanted to buy many years ago. And it was so hard for me to pull the trigger on it. And it's the biggest regret I ever made. We could have picked it up for $165,000. It was a condo in Vegas, and now it's over $1 million.
And you will
10
always,
years.
You'll
I'll
always
never
have
forget
like
that. Will burn me and so my point is if it's seriously between $1,000 or $500 and you would be devastated to lose it and you can come up with it, do it. Because your entire wealth now has changed over $500.
And another little cool piece to this, because again, I'm all about numbers.
Yep.
So that our mortgage on that house was $953 exactly, with some cents, with some change in there. So let's say $954. We now are actually moved back in with our parents, each of us, and we're renovating a larger home now that we're going to live in. And that house that we bought with a different kind of loan. So we were just a different breed at this point. But we rent that house, that 2-bedroom, 1-bath that we paid $110,000 for $1,350 a month. So $954 and
so right now you are in a position where your passive income is almost $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
About, just shy of $1,000 a month on 2 properties while you're building your next property to live in.
Yes.
That is the quintessential house hack.
The coolest thing too that we learned. So my boyfriend, when he got this news, he was like, we need to sell this house. And I was like, no, we are going to hold on to it, because real estate only grows. Right. It can maybe go stagnant for a minute.
Yep.
But it always comes back, because it's never going away.
Yep. Long term.
Yep. So to be honest, we don't have a ton of money, right? Like, we are not buying properties with cash. That's just not where we are at our stage in life. And we want to be able to still have a life.
But nor do you have to buy them with cash. I think that's what's so important about this conversation is you can be a really young investor and not have $100,000 in the bank and still do this to a point where you're making money. I mean, that's huge.
To be realistic, I probably had $5,000 in my savings when I bought my first house.
Yeah.
Probably. And this second house, or now this third house, needs a lot of renovations. And we know that we didn't have the cash for it, because we're looking at almost 30, 40 grand.
Yeah.
And so we actually pulled out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, on our 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that I was talking about. And it appraised at $210,000.
So now you're owning it a year. It's got over $100,000 worth of equity.
Yes.
And now you're using it to build yours. I mean, this is a success story like no other.
Yes.
But yet, I'm here to tell you, for all of you who's listening, this is not a one-off. Like, I know you're not a one-off. I know that this is possible for anyone who's truly interested in making this happen.
And I know I'm not the only one either, because I help individuals like this. I had a young gentleman approach me, and he said, well, Dave Ramsey told me cash is king. I need to buy all my investment properties with cash. I said, how much cash are you thinking we have right now? Are you thinking you're going to buy a $180,000 house with cash?
Yeah.
I said, how about we do this? We get a 3% conventional, and you can probably speak on this way better than I can, but there's steps you can go along. And I said, now you're going to look at 5 properties that are maybe each, say, $100,000 to $200,000. If they're $200,000, you're looking at $1 million portfolio here.
Yes.
I mean, you have 5 houses then in 20, 30 years that are completely paid off.
Right.
Versus one house that's completely paid off right away in the beginning. Okay, that might be really great up front, but let's think long term.
Right. No,
cool.
I completely agree with you and how important it is. My first house I bought was when I was 23. And then there wasn't like the house hacking. You had to live in it for 2 years because capital gains rules like I'm saying, this is back in the day. But I lived there for 2 years, sold it, made like 40 or 50,000, put that down on another house, bought it, lived there for 2 years, made more money, then put all that down. So I didn't do the renting. Yeah. I did have other rental properties, but in this case, I just kept buying so that I could keep for myself personally, which is the other side of it too. So I could buy bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think at that time I had $2,500 into my first house.
And another thing, real estate, probably just like you, is 100% commission based.
Yeah.
So and we're not married. Jackson and I are not married. So we split everything 50-50. It's very fair.
Yep.
With our new house that we bought, we know it's a 4-bed, 3-bath house. And I know from my investment side, that's a little too large for my comfortable, like,
your comfort zone.
space.
Yeah,
That I don't want
a lot
to
of
rent
house
it
to
out.
clean.
A lot of house to clean. It is, trust me.
Yes.
But I don't want to rent it out just from other standpoints. So it's just a little too large for me. We are going to be we're going to live there 2 years, then sell it. And he looks at me and he's like, this is horrible. I never want to do this again. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of bad. And then he looks at me and goes, until you tell me there's the next big opportunity that we should do.
Heck yes.
There are opportunities out there and you never know when it's going to come.
No.
So I always tell my people, get pre-approved.
Yeah, just get pre-approved first.
Just get ready.
And know what you're in for. And when you're talking to your lender, for me, it's so important when I sit down with anyone, I want to know, of course, things can change, but I want to know what the plan is so that I can help you do this right. There was a gentleman that I've worked with, and I just got the opportunity to work with his son, who's now doing the house hacking thing. And when they came in to sit down and talk to me, we broke down, what does this look like in your perfect world? What does this look like? And now I get to see him, and he's redoing his bathroom right now, and on Snapchat and all of that, and he's posting all of it. And it's so exciting. I'm so excited for him because this is, again, a project that he took on as a young guy, and he's going to continue to do it. So, and it was the same thing, 3% down. We worked with it. He got into it. He's living there through, fixing up. If you're okay doing that, the potential is endless.
Yes. Like I always tell people, I have such a strong opinion on this because it's so great.
Yes.
Like, let's not be quiet about it. Let's speak about it. Let's tell people, let's inform them about all these great opportunities that you can have. And I just think we need to get out there. We need to tell them about it. And honestly, like I said, the reason I'm 100% commission. So the reason I want to keep, living there 2 years, selling it is because eventually I don't want to have a huge house payment.
No.
I don't want to worry about it. I want to be able to go do real estate. Like I said, never chase a commission check. So I just want to go out there, live my life, inform, help others, and never have to worry about the money side of it.
Yes.
So I just want to keep doing that. And yeah, there are ways to do it. And once you feel like you're financially free, it's so fun in this world.
It is. It really, really is. So when 2 years comes around, I'm sure we'll have you back before then, but we'll have you back to discuss how that house is that you're working on now and all of that. But I cannot thank you enough, Payton. One, it's been a pleasure working with you. And then two, you're just such a young wealth of knowledge in this industry, and especially anyone who's coming in who has the interest of investing and or house hacking. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Yes.
You are always great to work with. And you and I have done a ton of deals together, and I always appreciate it. Can always count on you.
Same.
Thank you.
Well, for those of you who are interested in getting a hold of Payton, we will have her information handy for you, and we'll get that out to all of you who are listening and want more information on house hacking and or investing. We are here to make sure you get that. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.